Let's get it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Bullpen.
So, to make the situation more calm, because we do have a lot of people here, it would just be nice if you guys could leave, but we aren't. I can't wait on you guys. I have no idea. I'm not in the situation, but she, just to make it more calm, she said, you guys can accommodate because we do have a lot of people around, or the police will be on their way, because they are, so.
But why do we have to leave? We just came to order food.
Yeah, of course.
I don't understand, what do we do?
I don't know.
That's not right, man.
We was planning on leaving, but we wanted to wait for the police to get here because we wanted her name.
Yeah, she didn't want to give us a name.
Because we want to submit a complaint.
Okay.
She refused to give us her name.
Yeah, she doesn't have to give her name.
But she works here, right? We waiting for a manager. Right?
Okay, yeah.
Do they have a manager on hand?
Did you guys do anything? No, we don't have a manager in today. They're all off because they've been working all week.
If I leave and the police get here, she could just come up and say anything. I try to rob the place.
Yeah, I know.
So
did you guys do anything to disturb her or disturb any customers?
When she walked by,
yes.
I said, excuse me, because it seemed like she was,
Well, yeah, it's really busy today.
No, obviously.
Yeah.
So, I said, excuse me, because he's been sitting here for 15 minutes.
Yeah, of course.
So, when she left, she came back with the menus, and she said, well, I don't want to be yelled at.
Yeah.
And I said, I didn't yell at you. I was simply, can we talk outside real quick? Yo, record this.
I am.
Can we talk outside real quick? All right, just outside here.
It's crazy. They're refusing to serve us. That's crazy. That's crazy. They're refusing to serve us.
We have the victims of that discrimination on the show today. Thank you, gentlemen, for being on the program. I wish it was under better circumstances. We have Damon Whitfield and also Hector Madera, both truck drivers. Thank you both for contacting us at Indisputable. And when I saw this video, my producer sent me this video, and I looked at the long form of the video. I said, they literally sent, or the person literally sent a proxy waitress to tell you all that there would be no service, but there already was no service at this Denny's in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Dennis has now responded. I will read the response in just a moment. But gentlemen, what was going through your mind when this was happening in real time? And I will start with Hector.
I mean, to be honest, it was just unexpected. It's just something that we weren't ready for. I surely wasn't ready. We went in there, wanting to place orders just like any other place. You go to, you walk into, you walk into a place to place an order, and we were just blindsided by it. I'm still trying to, gather my thoughts and trying to gather myself over how it went down, and just the feeling of anxiety that I still feel from that.
Yeah.
I walk into these places and now I wonder, am I going to be submitted? Are we going to be submitted to these same, things again? It's definitely it's a shame.
Yeah.
They kind of I feel as though they took a piece from us that day. They took from us something that we can't get back, which is, it's kind of degrading, they robbed us. They try to rob us of our humility and, just dignity and self-worth and respect. I believe it's unfair, and I just want I want them to be held accountable, simply put.
And I agree with you. And let me ask, and this was really interesting. I'm gonna go to Damon. Damon, the waitress who started this whole thing, not the proxy waitress who delivered the message, but according to Denny's, that waitress has been fired by their local franchise owner. What went through your mind when this was happening? And can you also tell us about the alleged connection between the original waitress that was racist and did not serve you all and the owner of that Pilot gas station?
Okay, so we came in originally to get something to eat, like it's on video, and we basically, I sat down first. Hector was in the shower. She gave me the 2 menus and the orange juice. This is what you don't see on the video. So yeah. I'm waiting, and I didn't, racism is the last thing on my mind. We're the only Black people there. So she's handling other customers, customers that came in after us. She's taking their orders, seating them, and things like that. So basically, she would walk by the table and she would look down and keep going. It was kind of weird, but I just felt like maybe she was just giving us time to decide what we want, or maybe she forgot. People are human. I figured, we go to restaurants all the time, and things like that happen. So what a time goes by. Hector comes out of the shower. He sits down because he told me, just text me, just get me whatever you're gonna get. He texted that to me to do that. So I'm like, okay. And then he asked me when he got back, he's like, did you place the order yet? So I'm like, no, I think she might have forgot about us. So then he goes, excuse me, we're ready to place our order. And she goes, I don't like you yelling at me. He didn't yell. He wasn't rude. Nobody was out of the ordinary. And then he goes, I just wanted to say we're ready to place our order. And then she goes, well, I don't need you people calling me over to this table like that. So I'm looking at the menu, and I'm thinking that maybe she leaned over to basically, take his order. But I'm not processing what she's saying at the time. So I'm like, in my head, I'm like, did she just say what I thought she said? And then he was like, yeah, but and then after that, he said, but I saw that you serving other people, and we just want to let you know that we're ready to place our order. Because like we said, we're not thinking racism or anything like that. So then she goes, you know what? I'm not serving you people. You need to get your stuff now and go. I'm calling the police. And then she snatches the menus out of our hands. But she snatched mine out of my hand, and she snatched the menu out of Hector's hand, and then she snatched the orange juice off the table, spilling some of it off of me. And then she walks to the back where the cook is, and then I see her on the phone, and I'm just assuming like maybe she's calling the police. So me and Hector are looking at each other like, what in the heck just happened? So he's like, you know what? Let me go over to the waitress. Maybe this is a misunderstanding. Let me go and apologize. And I'm like, no, don't go and apologize. You didn't do anything. So he goes over there and he's like, excuse me, maybe we got off on the wrong foot. I just want to apologize if there's any misunderstanding. We just want to place an order. And she goes, no, there's no misunderstanding. I want you people out. The cops are on their way. So then he comes back to me and he goes, let's just leave. And I'm like, no, we're not leaving. Let's stay right here. And I said, let me ask the other waitress if maybe she can help us and take our order, which is the one that's on the video. And I said, excuse me, miss, can you take our order? And then she says, unfortunately, we can't serve you. And then she goes into what she says on the video, unfortunately, could you not be a disturbance to the customers and, whatever she said, Wow. But it's just, sorry.
Talk about this connection also, the Pilot gas station, a manager or the owner offered you something afterwards?
Right, so the manager, the lady, I was told, is the district manager's wife. I'm not sure how true that is, but that's what the Pilot. So there's that manager, and then there's the assistant manager for Pilot. I don't want to say any names or anything, but he was very helpful. He said, he saw after we spoke to the cops, he came up to us because he saw that we were upset, and he was like, what happened? I said, they don't want us in there. They kicked us out. And he was like, what for? I said, they don't want.
All right, we had a technical issue. Back, Damon, in just a minute. Let me do this. I want to read the statement from Denny's. if we can put that statement up, I want to read the partial statement on air, so you can find this full statement online. It says Denny's is committed to a culture of inclusion and service excellence for all guests. We conducted a thorough third-party investigation into the incident at the Denny's location in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. As a result of the investigation, the franchise owner immediately took decisive action, and the employee is no longer with the company. Denny's maintains a strict zero tolerance policy when it comes to any form of discrimination. We acknowledge there were opportunities to improve the service level in this specific situation. We maintain our commitment to ongoing training and development of all staff. The employees at the location will immediately go through a dedicated training program to ensure the team delivers above and beyond our guests' expectations. We regret this incident and want to apologize to the guests involved. Clearly, we fell short of our standards, our own standards that day, and are committed to making it right. Let me go to Hector, all right? When you hear that statement from Denny's corporate, what's your response to that?
I believe that more needs to be done. At the end of the day, I feel like, it's 2023. We've had many years of progress as far as like race relations and stuff like that. But, you look at an instance like this and you just wonder, how far have we gotten? I feel like as far as firing the waitress, that should have been done immediately. That should have been handled right there at that location. We try to handle it right there, with management. You can see there was no management, supposedly. We reached out to corporate, and we didn't have any sort of, we didn't get any feedback until you aired it, till you put it on your platform, which we appreciate and we're thankful of. Because outside of that, had it not been for, you putting it out there, it would have just been swept under the rug, and I feel like it's just a half apology. It's not, more needs to be done. Denny needs to be held accountable, and it's just so much.
To my understanding, once again, they do want to talk. They have reached out. They've made an apology, at least on record. And you gentlemen are not going to have that conversation until you have an attorney with you in the room, which I concur. I think that's exactly the approach. Let me go to you, Damon, and ask you, when the cop came, because we see one officer, we don't know how many officers were there, but when that cop came and told you all, let's go outside and talk. One, what was going through your mind? Because that's a dangerous situation. Cops come, black men, there's a narrative that likely is false against you. Number one. Number two, they're telling you to walk outside. What was said in that conversation with the police officer?
Well, so as we're walking out, I'm trying to explain to people, because they're looking at us like we must have done something wrong. And I'm like trying to explain to them, like, they refusing to serve us. You can hear me in the video saying that. And then I'm looking for someone to stand up and say something, or stand up for us, because and then I turn around. I even turn around to the cop, because I figured maybe he didn't know either. Like they're refusing to serve us. And then he was like, right this way, outside. So it kind of felt like one of those, we're in one of those towns in the movies where it's like a racist town, and we're being walked out by like some executioners or something like that. And I'm like, and we were afraid, because we didn't know what type of police were on their way. We're in an all-white restaurant with a racist waitress that called the cops on us. She endangered our lives by calling the police. You don't call police unless there's a crime. We didn't commit a crime. We weren't belligerent. We weren't disturbing no customers like this lady, tried to say or ask or whatever. And when we got out and we explained it to the cops what had happened, they were trying their best to help us. Actually, they were saying, the first cop was saying, no, I'm going to go inside and see if I can get some information. And he got the table number for the lady that was waiting on us because she didn't want to give her name. And then the other cop was trying to say, the situation with what happened to him. And then he said, we're sorry for, what happened to you. Because he knows, he knows what happened. Yeah. He knows what it is.
That is so ironic, isn't it? That the responding police officers, once they heard the full story, right? They have more sympathy, empathy for your situation than seemingly the local store, the local Denny's.
Yes.
And I think it's important for everyone to note, these gentlemen literally reached out multiple times to resolve this administratively at the local and corporate level. So it's not as if this happened and all of a sudden they contacted Indisputable. They contacted Indisputable when there was no movement, no response appropriate to what happened in that video. Naturally, there's going to be an update to this when you all do meet with Denny's and they either make a move that is to your satisfaction or they do not make a move to your satisfaction. I hope they don't do that. I would definitely cover it if they do. But what would you like to see happen? And Hector, I want to ask you first, what would you like to see happen? Or maybe is there a general framework you would like to see Denny's engage in to make this right by you all?
First of all, I would expect for there to be some sort of sincere or more sincere public apology. We were embarrassed, we were humiliated in front of many people. It's gonna affect me and Damon, later on down the road in many ways. Absolutely, they need to be held accountable. Like I said, we're in a process of speaking with legal advisors. We're definitely in the process of filing a civil complaint. A civil lawsuit. And it's a lot. It's a lot to try to put together in words, but hopefully we get a good result from this. We have a good result from this.
And I want to echo something you said, Hector. I'm going to go to Damon for the question. This has had real impact on your life. So not only in that moment do you have to experience that level of degradation, beyond that moment, there's this public response. Now, obviously people like myself and many, many others, they see it for what it is. Even at least one of the officers could see it for what it was at that moment. But you also have individuals on social media saying some really, really horrible things about you two gentlemen. And these elements exist in our social construct. So Damon, I want you to speak to that. What has the experience been like from those on social media who have been adverse to the reality that you and Hector were treated unfairly inside of this Denny's?
I want everybody who's watching to put yourself in shoes. Anybody of any race, if you go into a establishment and you're the only person of your race there, you in the back of your mind, nobody talks about this, but in the back of your mind, you're like, you're wondering if you're going to be treated unfairly or whatever the case is. So, it takes courage just to walk through the door of a place like that. We walked in there not thinking anything, and and then this happened. We were so stunned. I didn't have time to record the first waitress because we were just, nobody pulls out their phone to record when you're about to take an order at a restaurant. Like I don't, I feel like I have to practice a recording draw on my phone or something, and it's like, when it happened, it was just, we were just in total shock. It's unpredictable and it can happen anytime and anywhere. And as far as the training goes, I know that's what companies do and stuff like that. They want to more training. You can't train a racist. If a racist is a racist, that's deep rooted. So you just have to do your background check and make sure that they don't have anything coming into that company because you can train them. You're just going to have a trained racist working for you. You know, and it's just going to happen again. And I feel like as far as the apology goes, you say sorry too many times, it starts to lose its value. You know, this happened how many times with Denny's? I didn't even know this until this happened. And people told me that this happened before. And I'm like, you know, they say zero tolerance. How is that zero tolerance? And it happened multiple times. They have a racist resume. Like, we're part of this resume now.
You know, you do make a really, really interesting point about the reality of that training. And we contextualize a fix as, well, everybody's going to go through training. And I know corporate has to say that, right? They got to say things like that. But everybody didn't do it, and it was still allowed. That's a culture, in my opinion. It's not about the action of one, it's about the action of those who permitted the one to do so. That speaks more so to culture. We definitely will have you gentlemen back. I'm sorry you went through this. Obviously, you have an advocate in me and everyone who supports platforms of truth. We all support both of you. You're fine, upstanding gentlemen, and I'm glad that you are able to turn the narrative so that you no longer have to be defensive. You don't have to explain yourself. We got a video, we know what happened, we got your back. Any words for Denny's before we part? And I will say this, the VP of Denny's reached out. I talked about this last week. Her name is April. She seems to be a very nice, sweet, and authentic individual. Unfortunately, this is just a very bad situation that Denny's is in. And I highly encourage Denny's to respond in an affirmative way to make whole you two gentlemen, and by extension, make whole the Black communities that produced you. All right, what words of any to Denny's?
For me, I would say, you know, we appreciate April for extending her apologies and on behalf of Denny's. Denny's need to do better.
Yeah,
you know. They need to do better. More needs to be done, and they got a lot of work ahead of them.
Damon,
I feel like Denny's. Not to go off the topic, but the president of Pilot called me as soon as he heard what happened, and he apologized before the president of Denny's. And I respected that. He said what he's going to do, and he's going to make sure that this didn't happen again. And you know, when I got the apology from April, I mean, I remember, I told you that it was a hollow apology. I'm not saying that she was mean. She was very nice and sweet and disrespectful at the same time, because she was, doing a lot of multitasking while she was apologizing to me. And I felt like, this is a tense, serious situation, and this is the apology that I got. No disrespect to her, but at the same time, I acknowledge her apology, but my heart doesn't accept it. So, I mean, going forward, in order for this to not happen again, they have to figure this out, because they're like repeat offenders, and I just wanted to stop here with this. I want this to be the last case of that.
Well said. Gentlemen, I appreciate both of you. Thank you for coming on the show. We'll give an update. Keep in touch with us, all right?
Thank you for having us. Thank you for giving us.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate you giving us your platform, giving us a chance to speak our story. Thank you.
That's what it's for, dear brothers. I appreciate you both.